Jeremy, now flying across the skyline on his little broomstick, eventually made a rather hard landing at the library. This was his first time, by the way. So, as he jumped off his broomstick, he ran into the library and said, "Hag Witch, I need you. I have your broomstick." Now, Hag Witch came out from between the bookcases and was like, "Oh, good, Jeremy. Very good. Now, I'm sure you want to know what your second task is." And Jeremy said, "Yes, Witch, I must know now, for my beloved Chelsea is probably rotten on the floor." So the witch, still thinking Jeremy was being a bit dramatic, said, "Okay, well, here's what you gotta do. I need you to go and fetch me a gnome." "A gnome?" Jeremy exclaimed as he looked into her ravenous eyes. And she said, "Yes, but not any type of gnome. A child gnome." "A child gnome?" "Yes, because a child gnome can become my servant. Because everyone knows that gnomes make the best servants, and you need a child because it'll grow up thinking that you're its boss, and yeah, you get the picture." So Jeremy said, "All right, I will go to Gnome Land and find me a gnome child. And then you have to change Chelsea back." She said, "All right, I'll do it." So Jeremy went off, hiked across the wilderness, and found the little skinny bridge that goes off to the mountain island of the gnomes. And so he crossed this rickety bridge, and he thought, how shall I accomplish this task? For gnomes are known to be very, how could you say, violent, especially when it comes to their young. So Jeremy hid in a small bush next to where all the gnome children play. And as their daycare watcher took a smoke in the back porch, he went forward and grabbed one of the little nutters and said, "Hey, you're mine!" He stuffed him in his backpack. Now the gnome made a terrible scream, like this. "Ah!" That alerted all of the gnomes in the whole island to come. And Jeremy, he didn't have anywhere to go. So they got him. And Jeremy realized he was in a pickle. Or he was found strapped to a board and about to be burned at the stake in the middle of the village. This was very depressing. So Jeremy let out a cry and said, "Oh, you villainous gnomes, I'm just trying to save my love. Is there anyone out there who can hear me? Save me!" And the Gnome King came out and said, "You will die, sir, for your deeds of stealing a gnome child." Now his voice was ridiculous, so Jeremy couldn't help but laugh. But that just made the Gnome King even more upset. "You will die!" And so he took a flame and he threw it at the bottom of Jeremy's feet. And as the flames began to go and scorch Jeremy's boots, he heard a familiar noise. Could it be? It was this fat steed! The fat steed rushed in. All the gnomes were like, "Where'd that thing come from?" And he starts beating them all, smashing all the gnomes. They were freaking out, running around everywhere like a bunch of crazy people. And so the horse flipped around, kicked the bottom of the plank that Jeremy was on, breaking him off, and he got out of the ropes, jumped on the back of the horse, and said, "Let's get out of here, fat steed." And as they rode out, he grabbed one of those little tykes by its hair and whipped him up on his back and rode off into the distance. Now as they're riding, he's like, "Oh, fat steed, how did you know where I am?" And the fat steed looked back at him and said, "Oh, it was quite easy, actually." And Jeremy, he was like, "You can talk!" And while the horse and Jeremy were staring at each other in amusement, he took a tumble off the cliff. It's a long way down. People die by falling off this cliff. Will Jeremy survive the fall? Will his fat steed survive the fall? Will the gnome child survive the fall? Will Chelsea die? Find out in our next chapter. on Dream Weaving with Carter.